Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So what I'm about to say may shock you, but today we're going to be reporting on some more bad news for Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now this has been a devastating project for Ubisoft. Months and months of bad PR, mainly due to their own mistakes and lack of concern for Japanese history and culture. But today we have 3 more examples of pure disaster for this game. Disaster striking with less than a week until the release of this game in a time where obviously they don't need this. So there's going to be 3 different things we're looking at. Number 1, beginning with the usual, right? More people mocking their pathetic attempts to promote this game. And second and third are pretty much the same. They involve official action towards Ubisoft and this game. We're going to see some shareholders threatening to protest, demanding answers from Ubisoft given the turbulent nature of the company right now. And then we're going to be looking at some comments out of Japan where several priests and also shrine heads are now demanding action against this game because they believe there are racist and disrespectful elements of it. But first, let's begin with the, of course, shareholder news. So, angry shareholders call for protest against Ubisoft, accuses Assassin's Creed Shadows studio of being horribly mismanaged and hiding information from investors. Who would have thought that would happen at Ubisoft? I mean, it kind of adds up, right? One of the initial things we saw about a year and a half ago was a report that they made to their shareholders saying that Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows were going to be the big hits of 2024. We know how Outlaws went. That was a disaster. And then we, of course, have the delay, the 2 different delays of Shadows, which is finally approaching now. So it's not too surprising there's issues here. But let's read. So it says, the shareholders are revolting with their market value falling at the speed of Assassin's Creed swan dive over the past year. Ubisoft executives have likely had both interpretations of that statement flash across their mind over the last few years, but now it looks like one shareholder is moving to make that statement more than just a hypothetical. According to a new report, AJ Investments CEO, not even going to try to pronounce that, whose company owns a minority stake in the French developer, is reportedly calling for his fellow investors to join him in an upcoming physical protest outside Ubisoft Paris headquarters. An official company statement as seen and relayed to the public by IGN, they are condemning Ubisoft as being horribly mismanaged by current management, in doing so demanding that the company's leadership both provide them with a clear roadmap for recovery and address their declining shareholder value, lackluster operational execution, and failure to adapt effectively to market trends. I think those are very fair demands. And notice, it's not a clear roadmap for a profit. It's for recovery. That is how bad things are at Ubisoft, that even the shareholders and the investors are saying, please, just get us going in the right direction. That's all we can ask for at this point. That is a very bad sign. But when you have physical protests being threatened, this is not a very good look. And again, the turbulent nature of this company and the direction it's going and who's even going to own it is really up for grabs at this point. But, of course, Ubisoft is not stopping. They're still promoting this game. This was the latest official post from their Ubisoft Twitter account saying only 1 week away. And despite 10,000 likes, you'd be hard-pressed to find pretty much any positive comments in the replies. This is just random ones in a row. A stream plug. This one's saying, I know, right? Xenoblade X is going to be so fun to play again. Gamers, reject your Johnny Somali simulator. Oh my god. No positive replies in the comments detected. This game is going to flop so hard it's going to be record-breaking. When this game tanks, and it will, remember that you have nobody to blame but yourselves. I can't wait to play a black immigrant who slaughters the locals. Any good games coming out in a week though, and yada yada yada. Obviously, people are very unhappy with this game, and as I've always said, they're going to sell millions of copies. It's just a guarantee that it's too hard to rig this. It's an Assassin's Creed title. A lot of people are going to buy it no matter what, but it's an idea here that they're not going to succeed at the level they could have if they did any semblance of a good job on this game. I mean, what a home run this is. Assassin's Creed in a Japanese setting. This was tailor-made for easy success, but now it's up in the air. It's a matter of how much did they cripple themselves by all the misdeeds they've done with this game and how many people they've offended. And now, basically, they have to put all of their effort into this game because if this flops, they might be done. That's the current state of Ubisoft. Now, a lot of people look at this stuff, right, and they go, oh, it's only Westerners who are angry about this game. There's a big amount of gaslighting where they're saying, oh, the Japanese love this game. It's all just forced Western hatred trying to speak on the behalf of Japanese. Well, if the trailers on Ubisoft Japan's account weren't enough, there's plenty of anecdotal evidence. I mean, people will look at you, these activists, and they'll say, no, this trailer doesn't reflect a negative sentiment among Japanese gamers. With 400 likes and 17,000 dislikes, they'll tell you this is a bunch of Westerners brigading this on their burner accounts, essentially. Like, this is insane. Like I've said before with this round of promotion on their Ubisoft Japan account for Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's a lot of apathy. People just aren't interested. Not only do they hate what they see, there's not even that many people checking it out to begin with. A historic fumble with this game. They could have made this a huge appeal to Japan, and they absolutely ruined it, and they have no one to blame but themselves. But there's been a long line of controversy surrounding this game, and in particular, Japanese culture and history. I mean, we had the rewriting of Yasuke's history based on Thomas Lockley's fan fiction that he promoted himself on Wikipedia. You have the Chinese architecture mistakes. You also have the one-leg Torii Gate controversy. You have people, there was accusation they're stealing logos and art from Japanese sources. There was also the fact that this latest release date, March 20th, is the anniversary of the sarin nerve gas attack on the Japanese subway. So there's a lot that people in Japan are upset about, and just overall the amount of historical inaccuracies and things like that. But this is one thing that is a little bit different and getting a lot of attention right now. So Assassin's Creed Shadows faces backlash in Japan over shrine depiction. Politicians and temple priests blast Ubisoft for cultural disrespect. Now, what they're referring to here is clips like this that have been going around where basically you can walk into a shrine that's based on a real-life counterpart and just destroy it. And the fact that Yasuke is doing it is something that also pissed people off. Now, this is interesting because some people want to say, look, you're controlling the character, you're the one destroying the shrine, not Ubisoft. Which is interesting because it was Ubisoft's decision to allow you to do that, and that's what's offending people in Japan. You know, you might think it's not offensive, but the target demographic here, the people who are being represented with this, they are offended. And there's plenty of people offended. And again, with all these activists on social media, they're saying, no, all these people saying Japan's offended by this, they're making it up. Well, it's definitely not the case because now Japanese officials are condemning the shrine depiction. So we can see here in the video, the Hyogo Prefecture Assembly member Nagase Takashi, along with Shinto shrine officials, spoke out against Assassin's Creed Shadows for using Harima, again, I'm not going to embarrass myself with these pronunciations, in Himeji as a setting in the game. According to them, the game portrays the shrine in a highly disrespectful manner, showing the protagonist Yasuke entering the sacred site with shoes on, drawing his sword, and committing destructive acts. Now, this is based on a YouTube video where you can see there's an official statement here from the Hyogo Prefectural Assembly here. This is a member of that. And he is interviewing some people who are heads and priests at these various shrines and getting their opinion on this. But first, let's listen to what this member has to say.
通りすがりのですね、神主さんを傷つけたり、お社に向かって意味なく弓を射かけたりとですね、大変傍若無人な振る舞いをします。そして実在する寺社仏閣の中で特に今回問題になりましたのが、姫路市にあります播磨の国総社板手氷津神社の、拝殿本殿がですね、実際これ主人公が活躍する舞台として描かれています。土足で上がり込んで抜刀し、狼藉の限りを尽くしてですね、 鏡を破壊したり、もうすごい
These things are beyond outrageous. They can't believe their eyes. It's an insult to Japanese gods. And as he clarifies, it's not okay just 'cause it's a video game. And again, as always, some people say, well, it's just a video game and we don't feel offended. Well, the people having their shrine depicted, they are offended. And this is another example of Ubisoft not paying attention to the culture and ignoring people who are complaining about their misdeeds and misrepresentations and offensive content that they're producing.
権利というものはたわごとです。不快感があるのならば、許せないのならば、そのことはしっかりと伝える必要がある。これからそのたくさんの外国の人とお付き合いをして、インバウンドの観光客を増やすんだ。いいことばっかりではありません。こういうことはダメなんだということを、やっぱり国も我々地方議員も、そして何よりも国会議員たちは言っていく必要があるし、これは自民党の責任、保守政党、自民党としての教授がここにあるのではないでしょうか。
Obviously, he, like many others, are not happy, but now we're going to hear from some of the people involved in these shrines, including this chief priest of one of the shrines here. Let's hear how he views this situation.
毎日お参りに見える方もあります。そういう方たちがもしも仮にこの画像を
If they saw these images, they would be distraught and feel really sad. The shrine goers, the regular ones.
思いになられるということを考えてみるとちょっと耐えられないという思いは持っています。
そういうもう率直なですね、お怒りというか、
I mean, they're angry. They're legitimately angry about
私た
this.
ちちゃんと受け止めてですね、国へも伝えないといけないし、
And they want to convey to the government
またこの動画を見るさまざまな
and to
人にも
people who won't
分かってもらいたい
understand
な
where
と
they're
いうふう
coming
に
from.
思ってるんです
That
け
this
ど
isn't
も、
okay, is
これ
basically
から
what
も
he's
ず
saying.
っと変わらずにこの板瀬表津神社皆様に愛されながらこれからも続いていくわけですが、今回のことが変な形でこう広がらないように、やっぱりそのああいう、日本のことを分かったような分かってないような
Saying they're behaving rudely and ignorantly while pretending to understand Japan. That's kind of like the most offensive part, right? Like, not only are they doing these things that are coming off in a way that's offending people in Japan, but they're acting like they're these great researchers who put so much love into this and that they're doing such a great service for Japan, when in reality, they didn't do enough research, they didn't do enough time trying to understand the culture, and they ended up offending people in Japan instead. But there's one more person who was interviewed. This is a head of a different shrine, and he was asked, basically, how do you think this happened? And he talks about how people, I guess, from Ubisoft, in particular their French division, basically doesn't have any understanding or respect for Japanese culture.
というか、普通にそういうものの宗教とかそういうものを
Unconsciously discriminate against other races in their minds.
それがちょっと表面に現れてきたんじゃないかなと。
だからどっかその英語で言うてるけども心の底でちょっとそういうふうな差
They
別
say good things superficially, but deep
こ
down,
ういう時自民党しっかりしないと
but deep down,
言うてるけども心の底で
I've come to think more like there might be some kind of racism. That's how bad it's getting. They think that this might be some kind of coded racism that they don't even realize they're doing.
ちょっとそういうふうな差別があるんかなというのは思いましたね。
こういう時自民党しっかりしないと
ただね、どこまでその向こうが意図があってやってるのか、意図がなくても結果的に、こんなことになってるというところはちょっときちっとしていただきたいなと。
Once again, calling for some sort of a government action and condemnation of what's going on here. I'll put a link to this video in the description. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, you get the vibe, right? These people at these shrines, they are very offended by what they're seeing, and it's not okay to them. And again, you might view this differently, but you're not the one whose shrine is being depicted in this way in Assassin's Creed Shadows. And if Ubisoft is even pretending to care about this stuff, they would at least acknowledge it. And it doesn't seem like that's something that they're going to do whatsoever. But things are also getting a little more interesting because, well, people are comparing this to previous statements made by people on the team. The executive producer back a year ago said that Elon Musk is feeding hatred with his reaction to the game's black protagonist. So they're trying to say that people like Elon Musk are fueling hatred because of their questions about the choice of Yasuke as the main character, but they don't really seem to care when people from Japan are saying things that contradict the goals and the intended goodwill of Ubisoft. And if they don't address what's going on with the Shrine thing, I think it's a really bad indictment of Ubisoft, and I don't really think they're going to. There's less than a week until release. They're probably just going to bury their heads in the sand and just hope this blows over. But one last thing before we go here, I saw a funny interaction I think you guys will enjoy. It has to do a lot with the people trying to say that every person who's complaining about this game is just some dude who lives in Ohio and has never done anything to appreciate Japanese culture outside of probably watching anime or something. But you have this individual here saying, Assassin's Creed fans, I can't wait to play this video game set in feudal Japan. Me, I don't think what Ubisoft produced is a good representation of feudal Japan. Assassin's Creed fans, shut up, weeb. And then you have this individual posting the previous user's profile picture saying, okay, Mr. Clean, LARPing. And he would quote by saying, cool pick, I chose it myself, I don't LARP, I'm wearing the martial arts uniform I'm obliged to wear when I practice Aikido. I've been training in Japan since 2006. Wow. So this guy actually, he walks the walk, right? And you can see 49,000 likes. That is a brutal ratio. This guy picked the wrong one, unfortunately. But yeah, also to point out one last thing here, Steam version of Assassin's Creed Shadows does not require the use of Ubisoft Connect, which is a very good thing, but also at this point, it's just too late. They're trying to generate as much goodwill as they can in the final moments, but it's just too little, too late with this entire game. Okay, this was, again, a golden opportunity for Ubisoft to make a lot of money, and they're going to make money on this, but is it going to be enough to keep moving to the next project? Because the way it looks, if this game is not a slam dunk, the lights might be turning off for Ubisoft, and they have nobody to blame but themselves. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.